about how to get high stat armor. Okay, there's three ways you can do it, technically speaking. Three ways. One, it's with your ghost. Now, it also depends on what you're doing. Everybody knows that you have to have the correct build for the correct certain situations. That's wrong. You don't need to do that. That actually is very wrong. The way you do your builds are how you play. Oh my gosh, I swear, there's so many people out here that are like, oh, you have to have like the meta. No, you fucking don't. If it kills and it works and you like it, you win. You fucking win. So there you go. That's number one. Number two is to go to the helm. Now, the helm, as we all know, is in your directory. Technically, there's like three or four ways, but we're going to use the helm for an example. But there technically are three ways. But the right ways to do it is to do it this way. Wow, I actually have the zoom out feature. Cool. I'll do it. All right. High stat armor is also how to, be looking good, I guess you can call it. It's kind of stupid, but whatever. All right. Welcome to the helm. First things first, if you don't have these, you really should not watch these videos. Spoiler alert, you have to have access to the awesome war table, which is only obtainable by going and getting the artifact, which is the Legend Legacy Ascendant Scepter, sorry. I just totally bombed that. How to do these and how to grind out getting these is by doing the Season of the Defiance gear and stuff like that. Also want to make sure that you have all of these active, especially these ones. I swear, if you don't have this done, I don't even know how to explain it. So, first things first, if you're coming to the war table, first thing you need to do is make sure you have a discipline armor. You have a discipline armor on your character, depending on what your build is. Keyword. Depending on what your build is, will determine what your gear is going to look like. Hence mine. I like to be able to use my grenade, especially on Strand, because I don't like to like stand in one place. I hate standing in one place. It's annoying to me. All depends on your builds. First thing you want to do is make sure you have that discipline armor on. If you're trying to do a Titan, you're a Titan. Oh my gosh, you're a tank. Common sense. You want resilience. If you're a warlock, you want recovery. I don't care what anybody tells you. If you are either one of these classes that I just mentioned, listen. I know my fucking shit. I've done this for multiple different people. First thing you want to do is choose a piece of armor that you're going to do. Now, this also depends on your build too. For instance, what I do is I'm using swarmers, so I will not need boots. Period. Never going to need boots again for this build. If you're going to be like me and do the warlock with the sunbracer build, which you're welcome, by the way. Yeah, do it. If you're going to be doing my other build, which is my blow everything up build. It literally does exactly what I just said. It fucking destroys everything. Like this thing will punch out a good 2 mil. No problem. Just on the snap. If you want to know these builds or see them, talk to me on Discord. Link in the description. But this also depends on what you're going to be using for your exotic. So if you're using a helmet, don't ever touch the helmet. Use everything else. How to break the game and how to work it. You click two of these. I'm not going to do it because I don't need them, but I'll do it anyways. First things I'm going to do is two of these, and two of these. Now, some of these might go to my postmaster. I don't care. Now I'm going to open them. Now we're going to go through what the hell I just got. Okay, this right here, it's a 65 total stat. What this means, it isn't it isn't the perfect gear. The perfect gear is like 70. Like if you get a 70 roll, and I'll show you that in a minute, it's fucking amazing. So what happens here is what I'm looking for is a basically my standard one that I usually go for, which is my discipline, armor, recovery, resilience. Sorry, this mobility, it can help. Don't need it. I do not need this. So what's going to happen to these is I'm actually going to delete these. Same here. Okay, let's talk about these really quick. This is actually a pretty good roll. Only downside is I wish that 6 and that 9 were kind of into the resilience and the discipline. It's fine here. This is actually okay. I could use this. I'm not going to keep it because I already have a really good piece of gear here. When you masterwork any type of gear right off the bat, you're an idiot. So, yes, these I would technically keep, but I don't need these. But I will keep them for other builds later on. This is called a balance build. A balanced piece of armor. What this does is this is basically, okay, I just need to kind of distribute a little bit, which is usually where you want the piece of balanced gear to be, is your chest piece. Reason why, it can basically boost you into the other ones that you don't really think you're going to ever need. Hence the 31, strength for me. It's useful. This could help, it could not, you never know. That's why I always get two. This is called, I don't need anything I don't want any of this. So it has great discipline. This is actually good if if you're lacking in discipline, but you don't really need, you could probably get something better. This is also probably a keeper for now, which could come in handy. What this also means is this will turn into 31 discipline when you masterwork it, 16 recovery, which will turn into 18 recovery after a distribution, which I would put into resilience. Okay, I'm not going to upgrade because I don't want to waste my shit. That would turn it into, you know what, I don't give a shit, I'll just show you, fuck it. Okay, so we have a 19, 19, 16, 29. What this does is plus 2 each of these. Once you've masterworked them, it's a 21, 18, 31. It's actually not bad. You don't want ones, but they could come in handy. This is actually an okay piece of gear. Like I said before, this is probably your best piece of gear that I have right here. Work because I can actually use that. Where would I put the mod? Now, this is where a lot of people I see are messing up. And that's not a big deal. It really isn't. But because you're trying to gain 3 trip stats, I've seen so many people do this. I swear, yes, you have a discipline armor on. Do not, I swear, do not hesitate to overflow discipline. I mean, what the fuck? It works. Throw a discipline armor on if you're not needing it. you'd be surprised. Sometimes if you throw it in there, it will actually overflow it, which means you're actually going to get better shit. Once you once you've actually obtained over or the 100 stats or in either two or one of them, then what you're going to do is you're going to break your armor up. Okay, and if you don't understand what break up means, breaking up your armor means basically your exotic is going to be the guarantee piece of gear or helmet or stat you want in it. To give you an example, I put in recovery because I don't need it in resilience. I wanted it in recovery because that's my main piece that I'm using. That's my exotic. So I put in recovery. Then what you do is after that, you turn around and you put it into the other one. So your discipline, let's say it's like 180. Okay, I'm just throwing a number out. It's at 180. You have 180 discipline. You have 125 in resilience. But you have like, I don't know, 60 or 72 or 79 in recovery. Well, you're not at triple stats. Okay, there's no need to, don't ever masterwork your gear. Okay, if you masterwork your gear at this point, when you're only at 79 here, let's say you're at 79 recovery, and you masterworked everything, and you're at 180 and 179 or whatever you want to call it. In recovery or discipline and resilience, you're at super high stat and you're way beyond the 100. You kind of bombed yourself because now you can't do anything. Well, that's technically true. You shouldn't do that. Don't do it. Because you never know. You could be pulling up with one of these, which is actually the perfect stat. This is what you want. This is called a balance perfect. This is actually really good. You should definitely keep, hold on to these. This is also a balance stat. This is kind of too much in mobility, but it's not a bad thing. It could be helpful. This is what you really want. This is like perfect. But anyways, when you have too much in a certain area, this is what happens. You have too little. But this is also called a catch-up piece gear. This is exactly what this is. This is actually one of the Techian gears that I picked up to show you an example. Or not Techian. This is from a raid, I think. No, it's not. What the fuck? Yeah, there we go. To show you, this is from the same season that we're working with here. Okay. What I've done is I chose this to be my balance gear. Yes, I know. I said before that, oh, you want a balance piece. You want to have something like these stats. Yes and no. You don't need them, but like, I mean, it's no big deal. It just means that I have to redistribute all my fucking shit around, which is not a big deal. But when you're, anyways, back to what I was saying before. Okay, let's actually do this. So as you can see right now, I'm at 108, 109, and 85. Okay, well, I'm in the tier 8s here. How do I get to triple here? Okay, well, I've already masterworked this. Okay, I don't know. This is so hard to explain because I can't do that. It's not a big deal. All right, so triple statting, it's kind of pretty simple. I mean, you basically have to look for the right piece of gear, right piece of timing. So, obviously, farming out artifice armor, that's like big piece too. You want to make sure that you get, artifice armor. Artifice armor basically makes it to where you're pretty much invincible in the game. Um, have, that's not gonna work. I have another 30th anniversary. There we go. Now I'm at 92. Kind of redistributing around. Kind of makes it to where you're basically able to do these things. Recovery. Okay, so this is a non-exotic build. What this is basically I'm just using this to basically balance my stats. Now, let's say I put on a piece of gear that has a pretty well balanced stat. I put on an increase of recovery here. Now, to show you what that looks like without it, I had an 11. Okay, this is stock right here. This is basically with upgraded, obviously. Um, this is 64 gear. Anything above 60, good. Anything below it, it depends. It's good start gear. Anything in the 20s or 40s, fucking delete it. Anyways, but to show you what happens when you masterwork, or I'm not going to masterwork these yet. I don't need to. This is what happens when you have the correct build. What this does also, it makes it to where I can actually use my uh, exotic, sorry, to basically balance me out. But this isn't the only thing you want to try. A lot of people I see use a lot of mods. Now, I've seen many different versions of it where everybody's Emperor Mercy. Okay, let me just go like this. Okay. Alright. So this is my stats over here without any of my mods on, any of my fragments, anything, okay? Okay, this is what you get. Now, I've seen this a lot, and I don't mind it. I just think there's a better way for you guys to do stuff. What I will say is this is super helpful. This right here, if you're at the point where I was at, where you're in the 90s, this could also help you with the plus 10. Okay, plus 10, always good. Kitty cat, what are you doing? Cat, what? Hold on, my cat's being weird. Anywho, we're not going to go to it. Once you're here, pretty simple. You can basically now, distribute. But I've also seen it to where people are putting in these high piece of gear, mods. That's not bad. Where's the thing? And then they leave out anything else. They try to just like, oh, I don't want to use anything that's going to give me negative stats. Negative stats doesn't mean you're not going to be able to do anything. It just like okay, so this is what they do. This is exactly what people do. They put in the plus 10, plus 10, plus 10, and then plus 10. That's not a bad idea. To start with, you do that because you want your stats to be there. Then what happens is okay, well now you're in this area. Okay, well I'm now at 121. Let's say this is actually without like the mods that are in here, because that's what that does. This only helps you get those extra quote unquote ghost stats. They're not your stats. If you really wanted to, you can go back and look. They aren't your stats. These are just added to it because, oh, you get this extra piece. Here you go. No. What you want is you want your armor to be your stats. If you get your armor to this point where it's above the 100, as you can tell, stats valued maxed out at 100. Any stats exceeding the 100, worthless. They're no character to you. There's no effect. Doesn't mean shit. This is actually kind of interesting. This is actually very balanced. Holy shit. Actually, I might make a build around this. This piece of armor actually looks pretty cool. Anyways, but yeah, if you're gonna make a build, and especially trying to get to the points where you can start making builds, this is your best friend. But that's not the only thing. You want to get to the war table first and get this done. Why do I say the war table? The reason why I've tested this, I have tested it so many times. Oh my gosh. The war table is probably the best place to boost stats. Now, we all know if you've watched previous videos, there's hundreds of these out there. How to get triple stats really fast in 2024. This is how you do it. Okay, you do the war tables. You could literally do this in like 45 minutes to an hour. If you have enough engrams, this is where you go. If you don't, these are where you go. You grind the fuck out of this. Don't open anything from the war table. If you come up to the war table and you open these, there goes your armor. Your armor is out the door. Once you open these up, it's over. You want to save them, do all of your little missions, do all of it. So you get these unlocked, all of these, because these will come in handy for you later on. Third third way to do it. Now, this is the other way I found is pretty cool. I didn't know this was really possible, but don't go to sonar. If you come to this room, this is your last resort. Do not come in here until you're ready. This is your last resort. You don't want to go into there until you're absolutely sure that, okay, I think I need to go to sonar. I have a bunch of those. I might use it. You can use it. It won't guarantee it. That's why I'm saying war table is your best option. Start there. Especially if you're new to the game. Oh my gosh, do the battlegrounds daily, every day. Grind it. I don't care if it's bad content or old content. Do it. Come to the ritual table. You have engrams, obviously. And make sure you have your discipline armor. It depends on also your build. I'm going to say that again. Depends on your build. If your build revolves around discipline, use it. If you're trying to balance your stats, do what I've done, which is all three: recovery, discipline, resilience, you want a discipline armorer. This is where you go. Okay? Remember, don't forget, if you have a certain piece of exotic that you want to be using, well, make sure you have that piece of armor on. Doesn't matter whatever it is. Also, make sure you know what it's for. For instance, this one is for all of my supers. Every single one. Okay? Except for can be for strand, not really too much. This is really good for stasis, but it depends on really what you're doing. Um, anyways, remember, so this is my helmet that I wanted. Cool. Kitty cat. So there you go. Now, I'm gonna explain you one last thing because I've seen a lot of people, be like, oh, okay, well, I want to do what the hunters do, but I'm a warlock. Okay, sit down, child. We're gonna get to this. When you are creating or going for certain stats, the reason why most people you see have discipline armor on, like me, or they have an intellect and they're a hunter, or they have a mobility if they're a hunter, or certain things. The reason why they have it that way is because of the fact that they're trying to get their class first. What does that mean? Okay, for a hunter, this is your dodge. Okay, this is exactly what it is. You're also jump height and your mobility and how fast you're running, whatever. This is your Titan or whatever. Titans are tanks. They're supposed to be up in the front hitting hard. That's their job. It's no big deal. It's what it is. It's what they do. I'm a warlock. I'm a warlock main. So my job is to make sure that all you crayon and stick wielders are healing all the fucking time, or I'm actually able to give you healing. But I also want to make sure that I'm putting out damage too. So that's why I have discipline and my intellect. As you might have noticed, my intellect is so low. Doesn't mean shit in this game now. Wait, thank God. You don't need this anymore. You can have it, it's there, but because of our ability to do shit, we create orbs. We create stuff for us, like or solar siphoning. Every time I get a solar kill with the solar weapon, I get orbs. Excuse me, orbs. Every time I get a kill with my grenade, I create orbs. Now that you understand that each one of these is part of a certain class and also useful to other classes, now you understand that this box is broken up into two parts, and I'm going to explain this. Top three are your class: Warlock, Titan, Hunter, or running, damage input, how much damage you can take, and how fast do you recover from that damage. You're down here, this is your pretty much your battle. What you're doing, what you can do in a fight. How much can you use your abilities, shit like that. Discipline, this is your grenade. How often do you get your grenade? I mean, if you don't have your grenade, I mean, what the fuck? How fast do you get your super back? Like I said, you don't really need it because you have orbs that you can create. Also, master weapons also create two orbs. If they're crafted, they make two. If they're like raid weapons, I think, I don't remember exactly what that is. I'm not going to say anything about that because I don't really know. I haven't really paid attention. Your melee. I mean, come on. If you have a powered melee like Snap or Celestial Fire, which is where you throw out magical balls of fire, great balls of fire. Oh. Yeah, you do that. That's what you want to do. Go for it. But these are where your battles. So this is your top group, your top group, your bottom group. What this does is this is how people force the top area to go. Now, let's say for instance you're trying to focus only on mobility. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can really do except for start with your discipline armor. You have to start there. If you're a hunter, sorry, we're going to need that awesome invisibility smoke grenade, which would really help during Vault of Glass, especially in Harpy Room. We all know this. Okay, as soon as we can get to that point, once you understand that these are broken up into 2 points, that's how you do it. Okay, first, you're going to go to the war table. Second, you're going to make sure that you have a discipline armor on. This is for Warlock. I'm going to throw this out now. Third, you're going to grind out the piece of gear that you want. If you don't have it, get it. You don't know where to get it, or you can't figure out, okay, it's a world drop. Well, for now, pull out the damn piece of gear that you need and out of your collections. Problem solved. Yeah, they're not going to give you the greatest stats, but now you have it. Second, two pieces of gear, two pieces of gear, two pieces of gear. Leave your piece of gear. Do not even buy the fucking piece of gear from the vendors because you don't need it. Two pieces of gear for each piece you're going to go for. Check the stats. If they look like this or this, keep them. Or this, keep them. Okay? You want to make sure that they have higher stats in certain areas. The areas that you want, especially if you're in discipline, make sure that your discipline is always going to have a high boost. It's going to be there. Your second piece of boost is probably going to be in recovery recovery or resilience. If you're running a discipline armor, this is what it's probably going to look like. Don't freak out. It's going to happen. Keep this piece of gear. Oh my gosh, I've seen so many kids like delete these things. I'm not kidding. I've seen it. Okay? Like right here, okay? So I'm already at almost uh triple hundreds. I mean, I'm at a tier 9. I'm at literally 1 away and 10 away. Oh, look, I can just go like this, upgrade this. Ta-da, I just masterworked. I could technically masterwork this, and I would still be below the triple stat. But that's not what it is. Technically speaking, this isn't for my build. This is just a piece of armor to show you that this is possible. This is what you're going to look like when you've already done your kind of build. Farm out legacy gear, legacy content, because it's worth it. It's not It's not. I don't know how to explain it. I've seen so many videos out there on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. They're like, "Oh, you could do the all the stuff." No, don't. Don't do the seasonal content. Reason why. Do not do the seasonal content because you don't need to. You're not there yet. You do the seasonal content, you're wasting your time. Okay? Wasting your time. For now. Then, when you get to that triple stat beautiful moment, post a picture of it. Blast it over the internet. Guys, I got the triple stat. I'm new to the game. Fuck yeah. I fucking love it when I see kids, especially new players, when they just get out. Yeah, it may look like they're using the freaking Season of the Defiant fucking gear. Who gives a shit? They fucking did it. Props them. Fuck yeah, dude. Farm out the gear. Get this shit. Get it done. And you're going to be in the freaking awesome class. Yes, this is where you're going to be at most of the time. Do the season. Do the quests. Go for legend. Dude, I'm not kidding. This is actually I actually enjoyed this. I'm not going to try to ruin it for you. This was actually a pretty cool season. It's pretty badass. Because of the fact of why it was badass, because of the cool feature of getting to triple stat. When people got to this point, it was like everybody was starting to do it. Oh, look, you can go to triple stat, you can go to triple stat. Because they added in the feature of the freaking ghost mod. When they added that in, it made the game 100 times better. Sort of.